This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Introducing Demeatrius A Swint, a corrections officer entangled in a web of deceit. Tasked with concealing the truth behind a heinous attack on an inmate by correctional officer QUINTON RUDOLPH DARRISAW, Swint initially obscured the details. However, under mounting pressure, Swint ultimately succumbed, unraveling the events surrounding the assault and its aftermath. This gripping interview exposes a multitude of misconduct within the Georgia Department of Corrections, transforming a routine investigation into a sprawling scandal. Delve into this rare glimpse behind prison walls, where secrecy reigns supreme. These revelations, though challenging to obtain, shed light on a system often shielded from public scrutiny. Consider joining our membership club for exclusive access to this groundbreaking content. Your support is invaluable, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your presence.
Monday, February 23rd, 2016. It is 16:44 hours. I'm Special Agent Hurd. I'm here with Investigator Hunt. And we're here sitting with, state your name for me.
Demeatrius A Swint.
Demeatrius Swint. Can you also say your number too?
00906-240.
Again, I'm going to ask you some basic questions, and then we'll go into your Miranda rights and make sure you understand them, okay? Basically, can you read and write the English language?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to college?
Georgia Military College in Sandusville.
Gotcha. All right, now we're going to go into your Miranda rights, and I'm going to read each one of these for you. Make sure you understand them, and then after we do all this, I'm going to have you just initial by them, just to, again, say that you understand.
All
okay.
Right.
First of all, you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So again, the incident that occurred on June 15th into 16th of last year. Can you tell me, I guess, where you were assigned to that night? You work second shift, right?
Yes, sir.
And what are the times in the second shift?
6P to 6A.
Right. Okay, and where were you assigned that night?
I started off in the lockdown unit of J2, and then Lieutenant, she called me.
Do you remember what time you got there?
What time? I want to say about 6:10 p.m.
Okay. And
so Lieutenant called me about 10 minutes later and told me to go take post in F building, F2. And so
you said after, how long after that?
About 5 to 10 minutes.
Gotcha. All right, and then which lieutenant was that?
Lieutenant Whiteley.
Okay. Told you to go to the F building.
F building.
Okay, to take your post.
Yes, sir.
All right, go from there.
And so I was in F building until I say about 12:45, 12:50, and she told me to take post back in the lockdown unit of J2. And when I arrived in J2, it was about 12:58 a.m. And so when I walked in, inmate was banging on the shower door.
Let's rewind. Hold on. When you were in the F building, did you have contact with inmate Tremel Daly?
Yes, he was on the door. F2.
He was in the building?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And they told me to send him up on the door urinalysis test.
You remember around what time that was?
I'm not sure.
But he was called up to do a urine test?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you get him out of the room, or who came and got him out of the room?
I called and told him, went out on the floor and called him because he wasn't in this room.
Right.
And he came, and I told him he needed to go get dressed.
The F building's not segregation.
No, sir.
It's an open dorm.
Yes,
so
sir.
basically all you had to do was
Two-man
call.
cell. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right, so you called him and told him that he needed to come.
Go up front to security.
Okay.
He came, it was probably about 15 to 20 minutes later, and he was acting suspicious, and I saw the CERT team member.
After you had called him up?
Yes, sir.
How was he acting? You said suspicious. What do you mean by that?
And like he had something on him, and
what would make you think that?
The way he was acting.
Was he walking
walking funny, then he was going from room to room, and I kept watching him.
Okay.
And when the CERT team member
So it took 15 minutes for him to come.
Yes, sir.
To respond to what you said. And you said while he was walking up, he was walking in different rooms, which you thought was suspicious.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so the CERT team member called me on the radio, and I met Officer CERT Johnson on the walk, and they came.
So the CERT team ended up coming and get him? You called the CERT team?
That's the one that had called for in the CERT team.
Mm-hmm.
And he had called and asked me, was he 1076? And I told him that.
And what's that mean?
en route.
Okay, right.
And I told him about 05, and so by that time he was coming down because he had to get some more inmates.
Okay.
And I went out there, and when he went out the side, Daly finally came. I let him on out, and I told for the 13 member to the side, I told him that he was like acting suspicious, going around the room, and I believe he had somebody else urine on him.
Okay, okay. Is that something you've seen before? Have you seen where somebody would take somebody else's urine?
No, sir.
Do you just believe that this time that he may have had something on him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, so from there, he goes with the CERT team officer, and that was Officer Johnson. He goes with Officer Johnson to go do his drug test.
Yes, sir.
When's the next time you have contact?
When I went back to the lockdown unit around my 12:58 a.m.
So around 12:50 or so a.m., you're done with your F building duties.
Yes, sir.
And you go to J building.
Back to J2.
J2. Okay, and what happens in J2?
When I arrived, I heard the inmate banging on the shower, and so I went over there to see who it was. He was like, "Swint, are they going to put me on the cell?" I was like, "Hold on, I'm just getting back down here." I said, "Let me check with the officers that were down here."
So you saw it was Daly in the shower?
Yes, sir.
At that time, let me ask you, did he have any marks or anything on his face?
No, sir.
When you first saw him, when he first came out of the F building and was walking with the Officer Johnson, did he have any marks or anything on
No,
him?
sir.
Okay. So he asked you if they were going to put him in a cell?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I told him, "Hold up, let me check with the other officers that was already down there."
Who was down there?
Officer Darrison and I believe Officer Hagan at the time.
Okay.
And so I got finished putting my stuff in the refrigerator, and I asked Officer Darrison because they were next door. I said, "Y'all got a cell for Daly?" He was like, "They got to move somebody, put him in a cell." And so when I came back into the J2, I told him, "Just give us a minute, we'll go get him in a cell." I started logging.
You left J2? You said when you came back.
I went next door. They were doing inventory next door in J1.
Okay.
The building's connected.
Okay.
And I came back, started logging in the logbook that I had arrived back in J2 lockdown unit. And so,
let me ask you a question about procedures. When they move an inmate from I guess the F building, we'll use this because this is what I'm talking about. When an inmate's moved, or Daly, when he was moved from the F building to do a drug test, and then was put in the J building in the shower, should that be logged?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll let you know, my background is police. It's not corrections. So that's why I'm just asking. You're a correction officer. You've been doing this how long?
10 years. May be 10 years.
10 years. So you know way more than I do about the procedures. So a log should have been filled out that Daly was now in J building.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Even if he wasn't assigned to a room, what was in the shower, it should have been logged.
Yes, sir.
Do you know if a log was ever done on that?
I had stamped him in the F building logbook.
You personally had stamped him in the F building logbook.
Yes, sir.
But when did you find out that he was going to be staying in J?
It was how long?
I mean, was it when you first got there when he asked you, "Hey, man, am I going to be put in a cell?"
It was before then because they had told me that. What time that was?
You were still in F building.
I was still in F when I called in my count. I was like, "Is Daly gonna be on my count?" And they told me no, he was gonna be on lockdown unit count.
Around what time did you call in your count?
It was, which count that was? I can't remember if it was my 11:30 count. I believe it was my 11:30 count.
Okay. All right. So you called and asked. Who did you ask?
Lieutenant Whiteley.
Lieutenant Whiteley. You asked. Was that a male or female?
Female.
You asked her if Daly was going to be coming back to the F building so you can account for him.
Yes, sir.
And she told you no.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then you went to the J building.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've already went in there. You spoke with Daly in the shower, correct?
Yes, sir.
And told him, "Hey, I don't know how long they're going to have you here."
I told him, "Just hold on until we get on so I can see what's going on."
Right.
And then after I spoke with Officer Darrison, and he was like, "We got to find him a room. They got to move somebody, let somebody out before they could put him in the cell."
Do you know how long Daly was in the shower? To that point?
Well, when I got back down there. He probably had been in the shower because I want to say he left my dorm. It was probably around after that 9 o'clock count cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And I arrived back in J2. It was 12:58.
Is that normal procedure? Like, is that okay to do? I don't know.
No, sir.
What would normally happen?
Like when they usually bring somebody down, they usually, if they don't have in the room, they'll tell you who to move because they have to check with that make sure they ain't in no gang affiliation, and the PREA, make sure they ain't getting put in a room with no aggressor or something like that.
Okay.
And
so segregation is segregation. Are they by themselves or are there two men?
2-man cell.
Okay. Okay. So segregation is not like segregation you by yourself. It's 2-man.
Only if they're in isolationists.
Right. If you're on strip cell or something like
PC, protected custody.
Gotcha. So he was in the shower, to your knowledge, from at least 9 to about 12 or 12:50.
Yes, sir.
And which is not normal. That normally doesn't happen.
No, sir. For not that long a period of time.
Right. Normally you would find a room. Again, how would you go about doing that? What would normally happen?
They will, Lieutenant, she'll tell us to look at some names, and then see who was in a cell by the cell. Then she'll have to go in the computer to type in to see if they are pre-aggressor or in any gang. Gotcha.
And then move around people.
Yes, sir.
So this person's not just sitting in the shower.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So now you're back in J. You already went to, you said there was something next door.
Yes, sir.
In J1.
Yes, sir.
So now you're back in J2. Take me on from there. What happens when you get back to J2?
I started logging in the logbook of J2 that I had arrived back in there. And then Officer Darrison.
Is there a top and a bottom?
Yes, sir.
Does an officer work a top and then an officer works a bottom?
Yes, sir.
What's where you working, top or bottom?
Top range.
Is the shower on the bottom though?
Yes, sir. We got some on the top range and the bottom.
Was Daly on the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
He was on the bottom.
Yes, sir.
So, and you were aware he was in the shower because you had spoken with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So go ahead from there.
So I started logging in the logbook. Officer Darrison came in. He heard the inmate. Inmate Daly was still banging on the door, and so Officer Darrison went over there. The door was secure now. Then when I got looked up from logging in the logbook, the shower door was open. Officer Darrison was over there like he was stooped down. And then next thing I know, I had got up. The inmate Daly had kind of launched his body out the shower, but he never touched Officer Darrison.
Okay.
And then it was a rail over there by the stairwell. Officer Daly made his way over there and caught hold to the rail. And that's...
You mean Inmate Daly?
Yes, sir, Inmate. Yeah. I meant to say Inmate Daly.
You're good, I got you.
And he caught hold to the rail, and at that time, Officer Hagan had arrived back in to the lockdown unit.
So let's stop you there. Let me make sure I know who's all in there. You're in there. You see this. Where are you at this point?
At first time, I was in the office when Officer Darrison came in, and when I seen
you were in the office?
Yeah, J2 office.
When you saw Daly, I guess, come flying out of the cell?
Well, when Officer Darrison had opened that shower door, and I seen Daly coming out the shower, and that's when I got up and made my way over there. Okay. And then...
So it was you, Officer Darrison, and Hagans?
Yes, sir.
So it was 3 of you guys?
Yes, sir. But Officer Hagan wasn't over there at the time when he had launched this body out the shower.
Okay. So it was basically just you and Darrison?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And at that time, Officer Hagan, he came. And
where did he come from?
J1. He was still training. We were showing him how to do the inventory on night shift.
Did he just so happen to come over, or did you guys call him, or?
He came over because he was assigned to J unit, J2 also.
So it was just good timing that he had come over and saw what was going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
And so at that time, Inmate Daly caught hold to the rail, and Officer Darrison started cursing, "Let this so-and-so rail go." And he had on a pair of latex gloves, and he hit that inmate one time, then he turned around and hit him like 2 or 3 more times. So about 4 times in all, he hit the inmate.
When you say he hit him, give me a visual picture of how this is going on. I'm visualizing right now that the inmate is holding on to this rail.
Holding on to the rail.
This pole or whatever. And where is Darrison? Is he standing over him?
Standing over him.
Okay.
Like, this the rail right here.
Gotcha.
And he had hold to it. Officer Darrison standing over here, and he was like, "Let this so-and-so rail go." And so inmate wouldn't let it go, and Darrisaw hit him, and I was like,
hit him? How did he?
With a closed fist with the latex glove on.
Where did he hit him?
In the face. I want to say his left eye.
Okay.
And I like stopped Darrisaw, and he continued to hit him.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 more times, and at that time I had called Lieutenant over the radio and told her to make 75.
And that is
Conceal J2.
Which lieutenant?
Lieutenant Watley.
Okay.
And
so you basically told her she needed to come over.
Yes, sir.
Did you tell her why she needed to come over or respond over the radio, or basically?
No, sir.
You just told her to come over.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you told what is Hagans doing?
He had some handcuffs, and he tried to get it onto trying to restrain put handcuffs on the hand, one of his arm.
Is this while Darrisaw was punching him?
And Darrisaw had to stop punching him then.
Okay.
And he was trying to put the restraints on it, and the way they teach in BCOT how to restrain him, Officer Hagan like that.
He was trying to do it.
Yes, sir.
Way. Let me ask you, and I want to be real specific. At any point, walk me through everything that Hagans do. We'll go there first. Walk me through what Hagans did. Was he just trying to get cuffs on him the entire time, or was anything else? He
was trying to get the cuffs on him.
Okay. Darrisaw hit him how many times would you say?
Probably 4 in all.
4?
Yes,
in the face?
Yes, sir.
At any time when Darrisaw was hitting him, or even before then, was Daly ever actively, I guess, punching or kicking or doing any type of resistance other than holding on to that pole?
No, sir.
Nothing to harm another officer?
No, sir.
What was the inmate saying at the time? Was he saying anything?
He was just hollering out, talking about, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. That's what he was telling Officer Darrisaw.
I know you got there maybe late. You said you had got there after he already lunged himself out of there. But do you know why he lunged out? Did you ever hear maybe screaming or yelling or anything as to why he did what he did?
No, sir. The only thing I can remember on Darrisaw, he had to open the shower door. Then he was standing over there, stooped down like this here.
Who was that, Darrisaw?
Officer Darrisaw. And that when inmate Daly launched it by that shower.
Okay.
But he didn't never touch him.
Never touched him?
Never touched him.
Okay. All right. Let me ask something specific now. I know you told me what Hagans was doing and stuff, but I'm hearing accounts or hearing something that Hagan might have been helping Darrisaw out. Well, I'm gonna ask you just straight up: was Hagans helping Darrisaw out in any way? No,
sir. Not from my viewing or seeing it.
I know you said he was trying to handcuff him the way he was trained to handcuff.
Yes, sir.
Did he ever get his handcuffs on him?
He got one on him on him.
Okay. But he never really got full control of him.
No, sir. And
at any point, did he ever hold his legs?
Yeah. I want to say he probably had tried to hold him from while he was kicking, and that was about it.
You said he wasn't kicking, though. You said at no point in time did he ever try to really harm an officer.
No, sir. Not at that time.
Let's rewind. We'll rewind, man. Let's breathe a little bit, okay? Here's where I need you to be very honest with me, because here is where I come in, the criminal investigation side.
All right.
And here's where you can either be a witness or a suspect. So I need 100% honesty right here. I know you may have bonds. You've been here 10 years, you said. You may have bonds with these officers. However, I'm here to tell you this. Nothing leaves this room what you say. Okay? So if something were to happen, whatever, nothing is leaving this room on what you're telling me. Okay? And right now, it's me and you and an investigator here with you. Okay? So it's your behind that's on the line. It's not them. It's you. Okay? So that's why I'm talking to you. So let's rewind and let's start back from the launching out. No, let's go back further than that. Let's start from when you're at the control. Where are you? You're at the office. You're at the office, and you see, and Daly's in the shower. And Darrisaw is now going over to the shower, and he has the shower open. Let's start from there. Okay. in detail, honest. Okay. Walk me what happened from there.
From the shower.
Here we are. The inmate's still in the shower. Darrisaw has the door open.
And Darrisaw, he was stooped down.
Okay.
And then Inmate Daly launched his body out the shower.
Okay.
Made his way to the rail. Caught Holt to the rail.
Mm-hmm.
And then Officer Hagan came.
Okay.
And Darrisaw hit the inmate one time. And I was like, Darrisaw, stop. And Hagan, he came from doing the inventory next door. I said pack-up night. Well, transfer night.
He wasn't called over there.
No, sir.
He just came.
He just came.
Okay.
Because he had got finished with the inventory.
Got you.
And then Darrisaw hit the inmate 2 or 3 more times.
Mm-hmm. And you were telling him
to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And Hagan tried to get the cuffs on him. And
after the hitting or during?
After the hitting.
Okay, so
while
Daly was being punched, Hagan wasn't trying to get cuffs on him.
No, sir.
What was Hagan's doing there?
He was standing there.
Just standing there. I mean, he's new.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what were you doing?
I was the one that called Lieutenant and told her to make 75. And I was the whole while I was telling Darrisaw to stop hitting him.
Right.
But he continued to hit him.
So after the 3 or 4 punches, now he's done stopped punching. I guess Hagan has given up trying to put the handcuffs on him, right?
Yes, sir.
What is Hagan's doing?
I want to say Inmate Daly wasn't kicking, but I think, if I can remember, he did hold his leg, but Officer Darrisaw had don't stop punching him.
So let me ask you this. So I'm just reading into this, so that's why I'm asking you if this is how it really happened. I wasn't there. Darrisaw hit him 4 times, Daly.
Yes, sir.
4 times. At no point when the hitting was, did Hagans hold the feet?
No, sir, he did.
At any point, to your recollection, do you remember that Darrisaw ever told Hagans to hold the feet?
No, sir. Not to my recollection.
Are you sure?
I don't remember him telling me.
Okay.
Not to my recollection.
At any point, was there any other officers? Who was in the control room? There's a control room, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does the control room have a view of that?
Yes,
They
sir.
kind of see what's all going on?
Yes,
I would
sir.
assume they're the control room, right? Who was in that room?
Officer Robertson.
Officer Robertson. Was female?
Female. Yes, sir.
Okay. And what did she do? She's in control of the doors and whatever else is going on. So I can't imagine. I mean, what did she do?
She was finna call Lieutenant first. She said she was finna call Lieutenant, but I had shook my head and told her yeah, because I didn't have my radio on me.
Yeah,
it was on the desk.
Yeah, what?
My radio.
No, you said you shook her head. You shook her head.
Yeah, I shook my head to tell her to go ahead and call. Because she held up her radio.
Okay.
And I shook my head. Then Darrisaw hollered out, no. And on that one, I went and got my radio. Then he motioned for her to go to the other side so she wouldn't see it.
See, you see where I was getting at. So, okay, I'm rewinding, and the way I am, I will always repeat things to make sure I have a complete understanding of what you just said. Okay, so you're telling me that, okay, the person in the control room, Robertson, female officer,
yes, sir,
in the control room, saw what was going on. She holds up her radio, basically saying to you, hey, you want me to call LT, which
yes,
was
sir.
Watley. Names. Horrible with names. So to call Officer Watley, you motion yes, call her.
Yes, sir.
At that time, Darrisaw says what?
Hollered out, no.
So he saw what was going on and that the lieutenant was about to be called.
Yes, sir.
And he told her basically and said it out loud, don't call her.
Yes, sir. Then he motioned for her to move on to the other side.
Okay. Motion for her to leave. This was after he already hit Daly?
Yes, sir.
Or before?
After.
This was after. So
yes,
he had
sir.
already hit him a couple times.
Yes, sir. And I believe she seen that also.
Okay. You said that you were right there initially, and then you said you went and got your radio. Where is your radio in relation to this incident?
On the J2 desk in the office
so
desk.
Is it far? It's not very far?
No, sir. Probably right from here to, I say, probably to that door right there.
Okay.
Double door.
So for me to envision this, there's a scuffle or whatever. You got an inmate resisting, not kicking or fighting anybody, but actively resisting. Over there near the door, if you will. And you ran and got your radio.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The inmate is still resisting. How was that all stopped?
He finally stopped because he says back with her. And
was he ever hit in the back?
Officer Darrisaw could have kicked him in the back, but I didn't see it.
You didn't see hitting or kicking in the back or anything? Just
no,
the
sir,
face?
Just the face.
With his gloves on?
Yes, sir.
So you said that Daly just stopped?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at any time did you see Daly, I guess, pick the inmate up by his belt or anything and slam him down or anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to jog your memory. We're kind of missing things and going back and forth. But I understand. I mean,
he picked him up, then drug him back to the shower and dropped him in there and closed the door.
And this was after he stopped resisting, after
yes,
all the punches were thrown and everything.
Yes, sir.
What was Hagans doing?
Hagan, he was just standing there. I guess he was kind of in shock.
Was Darrisaw such a big dude that he can just carry this inmate by himself, or how did he?
Yes, sir. Darrisaw probably.
He big guy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he picked him up and dragged him back into the
shower.
To the shower
and closed the door.
Okay, let me ask this question: while all this is going on, and you've already called for Lieutenant this time, where was she?
I want to say at the time she was out there in the armory pulling weapons for the transport because she was here by herself that night. The only OIC at the main unit.
Who else should have been here? It's normally a couple lieutenants?
We usually have just one. And I want to say the sergeant, he was at the parole center because the other supervisor was out.
So there was no supervisors other than Whitley?
Lieutenant Whitley. She was the only one.
I get it, actually. All right. So all this operation's going under one supervisor?
Yes, sir.
The rest are just correction officers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because the sergeant was somewhere. What sergeant was that?
If I'm not mistaken, it was Brown.
Sergeant Brown was supposed to be on, but he was somewhere else.
He had to be at the other unit, at the parole center.
Okay, so he wasn't on site, wasn't here?
No, sir.
Watley was the only person?
Yes, sir.
And was there another lieutenant supposed to be here, you said?
No, sir.
No, just her?
Just her.
Okay. All right. Did Watley ever respond?
Yes, sir.
How long after she was called did she respond?
I want to say probably about 15 minutes later, if I'm not mistaken.
So it wasn't like hours later?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's rewind back. Okay, so now Daly is in the shower.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happens now? When he was in the shower initially, how was he dressed?
He had on his state uniform.
Okay.
Full dress uniform.
Okay. Did he have his boots on, or?
Yes, sir.
So he'd been in the shower for a while now.
Yes, sir.
With his clothes on, his boots. Okay. After the incident, what happened? Did he still have that on?
I believe he did. Yes, sir.
He still had his top, his bottom, his boots, everything on, and was just put back in the shower. Okay. All right. So now what happens from there? He's in there.
Lieutenant Watley, she came. He told Lieutenant Watley.
Was anything ever said before Lieutenant Watley came between you, the other officer? What's his name again?
Darrisaw
and Hagans. Was anything ever said? I mean, like I said, I was in policing for about 10 years. After an incident like that, stuff gets said. I mean, it just is what it is.
No, sir.
The inmate was put back in the shower, door was closed, and y'all just kind of waited for the lieutenant?
Yes, sir, we waited. Then she finally came, then she went over there, and when she got down there, she was like, which shower he in? And I told her he was right there in that first shower. He was in that first one or that second shower.
Okay.
And
how did he look?
His face started bruising red, then...
Was he bleeding?
No, sir, I didn't see no blood.
But it was bruised. You could see he had bruises.
Yes, sir.
And he didn't have that before?
He didn't. Okay. And then his eye was turning black. Mm-hmm. And then Lieutenant Watley, she came.
Did y'all just stand around the shower and hang out, or did y'all go back to the desk and wait?
I went back to the desk, and I believe Officer Darrisaw, he walked out.
He left the unit.
Went up to the J Patrol.
Okay. What about Hagans?
Hagan, he stayed over there in J2 office with me.
So y'all were just hanging out?
Yes, sir, until Lieutenant Watley came.
Swank, I'm going to look at you. I'm going to be real with you. This is a rookie, right? How long has Swank been working here? Hagans.
He just started last year. And
No. Before the incident.
Oh,
so he was new.
Yes, sir, he was new.
So how long had he been working there?
I don't know. He came from first shift to second shift to night shift. So I don't.
What you know? He ever seen anything like that?
No, sir.
All right. So y'all in a room together.
And then he was like, Darrisaw done messed up, ain't I? I was like, yeah, he done messed up.
See, you about to skip it. I need details.
I said, yeah, he done messed up. And if we ever have to, I told him, if we have to go see the people, investigate, I said, make sure you just tell the truth. And he was like, yeah, I'm here. Because I had to see him last year for another incident involving Officer Darrisaw.
Tell me about Darrisaw then. So he done got you into some mess. What was the other incident about?
Him the inmate while he was basically jumping on the inmate while he was in cuffs. Supposedly, the inmate had on stepped through the cuffs and got him in the front, and Darrisaw was going back and forth with the inmate, and he put a hand in the inmate face, so the inmate put his hand back in Darrisaw's face, and Darrisaw pushed, and the inmate stumbled over the chair and hit the filing cabinet, and we basically had to pull Darrisaw off the inmate.
Wow, so that's at least 2 incidences involving you that you were there and you saw this. Let me ask you. All right, let me use this in a way, but then kind of look at it a different way too. Let's say the inmate was not only holding on to the pole, but he was kicking, right? If you guys had to use, I guess, punch or whatever, would you fill out a use of force?
Yes, sir.
When would you fill out a use of force? What is the policy on a use of force?
Right out, fill it out right after it happened.
Okay.
With statements.
And what incident, like what type of incidents would you use it on?
What bring you to doing a use of force?
Right. Give me the most minimum to the most craziest thing. What's the smallest thing that would happen in here that you would definitely need to use a use of force? Something that you'd be like, really, but you have to.
Just touching an inmate.
Just touching an inmate.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Have him to do something, compel him to do something against his will.
Once again, not a corrections background, but it's my understanding, I've been here long enough, that, you even touch an inmate,
you got to do a use of force.
You got to use force.
And a statement. And statement from whoever else.
And what comes with the use of force?
A DR, your statements from yourself, the inmate, and whoever else was involved.
And what else?
And what else comes?
Maybe followed by medical?
Medical.
And a use of force supplement.
Was any of that filled out?
No, sir.
Why?
I know the statement was filled out. Then medical, he had to wait because we don't have 24-hour medical here. And
that's your statement?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
And he kept telling.
So a statement was done by you. You did a statement.
Yes, sir.
You know if the other officers did one too?
I believe they did.
All right. So statements were done, but a use of force was never done.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Fast forward. Now we're back to inmates in there. You guys are in there talking, and you said, and Hagans says to you, "Man, he done messed up."
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what goes on from there?
So Lieutenant Watley came. She was like, "Which shower?"
She came to y'all first.
She came straight into J2.
Okay.
After she got popped in, and she was like, "What's going on?" She was like, "What shower he in?" And I went over there, showed her. He was in that first or the second shower.
Let me ask you, before you brought her to the shower or whatever, did you tell her what happened?
Did she even ask what happened?
She asked after she seen him. She was like,
after she seen him.
We
went back in the office. She was like, "Swint, tell me what happened." I said, "Officer Darrisaw."
So before then, you just basically said, "Yeah, he in the shower."
Yes, sir.
But you didn't tell her, "Hey, this is what happened."
No, sir. Okay. I didn't want to say it because other inmates, they were at the door listening. Cause after he started screaming out,
sure.
The other inmates started.
Sure. So she goes over there, sees him in the shower, and is he laying down? Is he standing up? What's he doing?
He was laying down, And she was like, daily.
Was he in water?
No, sir.
There's no
I didn't
water?
see no water on.
Okay.
And
he's laying down in the shower and she comes back.
Yes, sir. And she was like, Officer Daly, what happened? He was like, Officer Darrisaw jumped on me. Officer Darrisaw jumped on
Inmate.
me. I mean, Inmate Daly stated that.
So she asked the inmate what happened.
Yes, sir.
And he's still laying down and said that he got jumped on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then we walked back to the office. She was like, Swint, tell me what went on. And I said, Officer Darrisaw, when I got back down here, Inmate was banging on the shower door. So I went to see what he wanted. And so then when I went and asked Darrisaw,
You fast forward. You missed details. I'm very detail oriented. You told me initially, before I guess I interrupted you, that she asked you what happened.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and what did you tell her?
I told her that when I came back to the lockdown unit, I said inmate was banging on the shower door.
Okay. And
then inmate asked me, I went to see what the inmate wanted, and he asked me, did they have a cell for him?
Right. So
and
you walked her through the whole event.
Yes, sir.
Did you tell her that Darrisaw hit her?
Yes, sir. I told her that Officer Darrisaw hit him.
Okay.
And so Darrisaw came in. She was like, Darrisaw, what you done did? Darrisaw said, I blanked out. She was like, what you mean you blanked out? Darrisaw said, I hit him. And then she said, she stated, I don't told you can't keep touching these inmates.
So she was aware of past issues.
Yes, sir. She was on the last time when he hit the inmate that was down there.
The other one you were called about?
Yes, sir.
So she said, I told you, you were there, you were sitting right there and heard her say this. I
yes,
told
sir.
you not, you can't keep hitting these inmates.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and from there, what happened?
And then we walked back over to the shower. She was like, Inmate Daly, can you walk? And he like, no, I cannot walk. He said, I need to see medical. She told him that medical wasn't here because we don't have a 24-hour medical. And she was like, I'll put you down to see him in the morning. And so,
let me stop you there. Again, police officer, not corrections. If there's a guy, what happens if something happens at night to where you need medical? I understand medical's not always here, but I find it hard to believe with all these inmates, and you know how inmates can be, I'm sick now, I need somebody to look at me, or whatever. What normally happens?
They're called the duty officer. They'll call the doctor, and from there, the doctor will tell the supervisor whether to send them out or they'll see them in the morning.
So worst comes to, I mean, at the very least, the doctor's gonna hear about what's going on and make a decision of whether they need to be sent out that night or whenever, or they'll just see them in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Was that ever done?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure she called them after she left from the lockdown unit or not.
But from what you know,
from what I know, she didn't while down in the lockdown unit.
But she did tell him that medical's not here and...
Yes, sir.
Sorry, basically. Okay. All right. Continue. Go ahead.
And then from there, I wrote my statement. After she left, I wrote my statement. I turned it in to her.
Let's look at your statement.
And then...
What's missing out of your statement? I know it's been a while since you wrote it. You want to read it?
Yes, sir.
That is your statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and read it, and if you just tell me if anything is missing.
I had another statement because she called me up about the punching. I got the other statement because she called me up. She was like, Swint, I need you to rewrite your statement. And so I talked to Mr. Ford about it. Well,
so let me ask you something. That's the first statement you wrote?
This is the second one.
Do you have a copy of your first statement?
I have it at home. And
I forgot. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I had talked.
Wait a minute. So in your first statement you wrote
about the punching.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what happened there? You were called by Whitley?
Lieutenant Wiley.
You were called by her, and what did she say?
Told me.
This was later, after.
Yes, sir. She like, Swint, I need you to rewrite your statement because I don't know what you and Officer Darrisaw got going on, but he could lose his job or go to jail behind this. And so I rewrote it, and I kept the original.
I mean, you were told by a lieutenant to do it.
Yes, sir. And I kept the original. I tore up a sheet of paper and threw it in the trash, and I had to fold the original in my pocket. And so I called after she told me to do it, I called the sergeant at the annex. I was like, Sergeant Battle, I said, Lieutenant Watley told me to rewrite my statement.
Well, who did you tell?
Sergeant Battle. She's no longer here.
Who was she? Like, is she?
Sergeant Battle's no longer here.
She's no longer here.
Is she just a sergeant, like over? I guess where Sergeant Brown should have been that night. Is that that's what she kind of does?
Was at the, yes, sir. But she was at the parole center.
Would she normally have been working that night too, or is she on a different?
She was working that night. Well, not the night the incident happened, and she was here that night. Lieutenant Watley told me to rewrite my statement.
Okay. All right. So this is your second. This is not the first one you wrote.
It's not. It's the second.
Okay.
So does that explain why you wrote that on June 25th?
I believe so.
Is that the same date that you wrote the first statement?
No, sir. I mean, no, ma'am. This is my second statement here. I get and that morning.
When did you fill out your first statement?
That night.
It reflects that same date that the incident happened?
Yes.
So it would have been on the 16th.
16th. And so I met after they called me at home after cause I was supposed to meet Sergeant Battle with the original, and she was like, you still got it? I was like, yeah, but that morning I was late getting off, and she already had them left, but she left a note for Deputy Warren Ford and Mr. Warren Conley, and Captain Snowden, he called me at home. He was like, Mr. Ford want to speak to you. And so he got on the phone. He was like, Swint, tell me what went on. And so I told him,
This is who, Ford?
Deputy Warren Ford.
Gotcha.
And he was like, I told him that Lieutenant Watley told me she needs me to rewrite my statement. He was like, she would. And I told him, he was like, you still got the original? I was like, yes, sir, I still got it.
Okay.
And I still got it now, but I forgot that I could run home and get it.
Did he ever tell you to rewrite it or to listen to what Lieutenant Watley said? Or?
No, sir. He told me that he was send Captain Snowden to my house to get the original, but I had met him at Walmart's parking lot and gave him the original.
So that did happen. You did hand somebody else the original.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sergeant Ford has a copy of that original.
He should have it.
That's Deputy
Warren Ford.
I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I got to say it. You see I'm horrible with names.
You're right.
Okay. All right. Wasn't expecting that. I'm glad. Okay. Let's go back to that night or that morning, depending on how you look at it. Okay, so now you done told Watley. She came back, asked you what all happened. You told her what happened. She's talked to the other officer, which is the Darrisaw. Spoke to him. Where are we now? What's going on now? Around what time was that? Do you remember?
It was probably around, I'd say about 12. I mean, about 1:20, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right, so around 1:20, everything is over. You done told everybody, you Watley and everything. Where do we go now? What happened from this time to the end of your shift, which is 6, right?
6. I kept every time I did my 30-minute
Were you in the J2 the rest of the night? Okay.
Every time I did my 30-minute checks, I made sure I checked on him. I was like, Daily, you all right in there? He was like, yeah, I'm all right.
Segregation, right?
Yes, sir.
You're required to check how many times?
Every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes. So from 1:20 to 6, I mean, you checked, let's see, like 8 times.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, the 8 times you checked him, you kept asking him if he was okay?
Yes, sir.
Did his condition change in any?
He said he was okay, but it's bad with her, and then his eye had on swole.
So you saw the difference in his face?
Yes, ma'am. Was
he still laying there?
Yes, sir.
At any point from 1:20 to 6, did anybody with any other rank or whatever, come in there and say anything to him?
No, sir.
Okay. Darrisaw, where did he go after the incident? You said he just left?
He went up in control, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe she told him do not come back over there on that unit.
Okay.
Because I didn't see him no more that night until that morning when it was time to go.
So he never came back to J2?
No, sir.
From 1:20 to 6 o'clock, was Inmate Daily, ever taken out of that room or asked to handcuff up or to cuff up or anything by anybody?
No, sir. I don't remember nobody asking him.
Did Hagans ever go up there and ask him to cuff up?
I don't remember him asking.
Well, Hagans was Hagans the second floor?
He at the bottom floor.
So he was bottom floor, you were top.
Top.
So let me ask you this. Hagan was a brand new officer, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
You good?
In order to work the lockdown unit, you're supposed to be, that's a priority post. So he should have been at least a CO2 or have been there for a minute.
Is that normal?
He, at this point, he was only in the system 2-3 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When I first got in the system, that's the first place I went lockdown unit.
Is it really?
A CO1.
What are you now?
A CO2.
Okay. Okay.
Not just training? Not with someone else? Like shadowing?
I went straight to J2 by myself.
Throw you to the fire, huh? So again, just to ask again, you know, I've repeated myself several times since we've been here, so I'm gonna do it again. I guess from that morning at 1:20 to the end of your shift at 6 o'clock that morning, at no time did the other officer or Hagans ever come and try to talk with Daly?
No, sir, I don't recall.
Or even try to cuff him up or take him out, or did they ever open that door? Was that door ever opened again?
No, sir. The only part that was open was the one flap when I looked in on him.
Okay. And was he on the floor the entire time?
Yes, sir.
The whole night? Was he moaning? Was he yelling? Did he anything? Did he say anything?
The only thing he was saying when I asked him, was he all right? He was like, I'm just hurt. And that was it.
Okay. Throughout the night, I know you said that you guys had low supervision. There wasn't too much supervisors, only Watley. Did any other supervisors come back during the night?
No, sir.
So it was just Watley the whole night?
Lieutenant Watley the whole night.
And you had already told her everything that kind of happened with the incident. She was aware of what happened and everything.
Yes, sir.
And she told him medical ain't coming. Whose decision was it? Because you told me when we first started the interview that it's not normal procedures to leave somebody in the shower for several hours or whatever. So right now, you know, I guess he was brought to the shower. You didn't come back in the building until around 12 something, right?
Yes, sir. Almost 1 o'clock.
Okay, so you don't know how long you've been in there before, but from what you know, from around 12, almost 1 o'clock, to about 6, he's been in the shower.
In the shower.
Who authorized that? Who said leave him in the shower?
Next time I talked to Lieutenant Watley, we go move him to get him moved to cell.
When was this?
It was probably about an hour after she had left for 9 there, and she spoke with the duty officer.
So the incident happened around what time would you say?
When Darrisaw hit.
Yeah.
It was probably right at 1 o'clock, about 1:10. 1 o'clock, 1:10.
Okay. All right. So that was when the incident.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So she left around 10 or so minutes later, you say?
Yes, sir. I say about 15 minutes.
And it was at that time when you asked her, hey, what we going to do with Daly?
It was about an hour later, and she said she had spoke with the duty officer. I can't remember who she said it was. And she said they let him stay in the shower. They'll take care of him in the morning.
And what was your thoughts on that? I mean, have you seen anything like that before? Has that ever happened before?
No, sir. Not since I've been in the system.
So you've been here 10 years, Bob.
Well, I haven't been here.
Right. But you've been.
Yes, sir.
In your time, did you ever seen something like that happen to where they say leave him in the shower for 6 hours or whatever?
No, sir.
It's never happened. Okay. Is that against what you know to be right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How long have you been at this facility?
I came back in June 2014.
Okay. During your time here at the facility, have you seen where force has been used but not properly documented?
Well, no, sir.
Other than this incident, because would you agree that use of force should have been completed on this?
It should.
Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to understand procedures.
Yeah, it should have.
Okay. So besides this incident, I guess, and the other one, because you dealt with him on another one, right?
Yes, sir.
Was the use of force done then?
Yes, sir.
One was done. Okay. So besides this incident, has there been any time when force was used on an inmate and it should have been documented but it wasn't?
No, sir. This the only one.
On a deeper level, I'm asking, have you ever seen in your time being here where there has been a cover-up, where somebody has tried to cover their tracks and say, this is going on, but we're going to try to sweep that under the rug? Have you seen an effort to do that?
No, sir.
When I showed you what I had as far as your witness statement, and you noticed that was the second witness statement.
Yes.
That was not the first witness statement. Where was your mind going on that?
By her telling me to rewrite it, I was just doing it. I just did my last block of instruction, and that's why I kept my original, and I forgot to put it in my...
Which was very smart, by the way.
What I forgot to put it in my bag because I had pulled it and put it on my dresser and forgot to put it in my bag.
Okay. So, Watley. Am I saying it right?
Watley.
Mm-hmm. You did it right. Mm-hmm.
So obviously, would you say she was trying to cover up this incident? Why would she have you fill out another statement?
I believe she will. It I believe so Darrisaw had something on her. What could cost her job?
Do you believe that, or do you know that? Were they in a relationship, or were they? I mean, I'm telling you this, and again, I may not have been in corrections, but I know it's like a brotherhood, it's like a family, it's like a you know what's going on because y'all keep it in house.
Exactly.
What's in house is in house. Well, we in the room. What's in the room is in the room. Did they have a relationship? Why? I'm trying to figure out why would she be doing this.
I'm not sure.
How does that? You know what I'm saying? How does that benefit her?
It don't.
If it happened, it happened.
It could cost her position. She was just trying to cover up for everything. That last incident, I believe she was trying to cover up for him.
They messing around?
I'm not sure. He stayed up on her all the time.
Really?
He would leave, post, stay gone 2 and 3 hours, and I had to do his rounds. So
he was assigned to a post. She was a lieutenant the whole time?
Yes, sir.
He was assigned to J1 or whatever. J2. And they would go somewhere. Do you know where they would go? Would they leave? He
would pick up the paper. By us being short, he would pick up paperwork, and then he would never come back until a couple hours later. I say about 2 3 hours later. Then he'll come back.
And that's not supposed to happen, obviously. You guys are short. He need to get his behind back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. With Watley, is there anything that you've seen in your time being here and being in the family, if you will, you know what I'm saying, where she's been shady, where she's deliberately tried to cover up, or she said, screw him, just leave him in there, he'll be all right until in the morning, or something? Or is there any incident that you've seen where she's been deliberately did that?
No, sir.
Okay. Other than this?
This the only one.
Okay.
I can run home and get the original statement.
Well, I might have you do that, but not right now. Is there anything else? And I think you see as we were going through that I'm very detailed. I'm horrible with names, but I can remember details. Yeah. I want you to remember, is there anything that I may not be asking you that you have that can be added to this that I'm not maybe thinking of? That you can say, and this happened too. Like what has happened since this incident? What this guy was in the shower. When was he moved?
When I left that morning, when I got relieved by first shift, he was still in the shower.
And what time were you relieved?
I usually get relieved probably about 6:10 a.m.
Okay. And let me ask you, normally how this works, do you brief the oncoming guys? Hey, this is what's been going on?
Sure.
Did you tell him what happened? What did you tell him? Do you remember?
I told him that I got pulled from 9 in the lockdown unit.
So you went to F and you told him the whole thing.
Yes,
Did you tell him about the incident?
Yes, sir.
What did you tell him exactly what happened, or basically tell him, what did you tell him?
I told him that Officer Darrison hit the inmate.
So you did tell him that. You told him that.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Who was the officer that relieved you?
Who that was? It could be so many coming down there. I believe it was. Who came on that morning? I can't remember who came on
Jordan?
that morning.
Neil? Lieutenant Williams? Any of those ring a bell?
It might have been that key that came on that morning
Okay.
because I can't remember.
Okay. So you briefed them, and I mean, that's not normal. This stuff doesn't happen every day, right? I mean, you don't just do this. And what did they say? Okay, we'll handle it, or what?
They said they'll handle it, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they called their supervisor before they relieved me.
The two officers called their lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
Or do they have a sergeant over them?
Yeah. I want to say
That's the normal structure, right?
Yes, sir. I want to say they did have a sergeant on shift,
Okay.
but they went ahead and spoke to their lieutenant.
Right. Okay. And you don't know what happened then? You went home and
I went home, and that was it.
So you know though that inmate Daly was beat up that night, was in the shower for at least half of your shift.
Yes, sir.
And then was left to the next shift to deal with.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay. At any time did you ever call maybe the deputy or deputy warden or the warden or anything? Or did you ever tell anybody maybe higher than Watley?
No, sir.
You never told anybody higher than that? Okay.
What did you tell Deputy Warden Ford?
That day when he had Captain Snowden call me.
How long ago was that after the incident?
It was,
Same day?
I want to say it was like that next day, I believe.
Okay.
And Captain called me, and he was like, Mr. Deputy Warden Ford wanted to speak with me. And so he asked me what went on, and I told him that Lieutenant Watley wanted me to change my statement after I seen Officer Darrison hit the inmate, and he was like, she what? And I told him again, he like, you still got the original statement, Officer Swint? I was like, yes, sir. And you're like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to send Captain Snowden to your house. I said, I could meet him because I just got home and I had never got undressed or got in bed yet. He was like, I could meet him at McDonald's or Walmart. And so he asked Captain what he wanted me to meet him at. And he said, I can meet him at Walmart. And so I met him at Walmart. He gave me the original statement.
Okay.
But you kept a copy of that original?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
In the days after, and again, this is where I need you to be honest with me. I mean, because there's a reason why I'm asking it. Obviously, did Darrisaw ever approach you or anybody else and ask you to lie for them?
No, sir.
Sure.
I'm sure.
That you know of, Darrisaw never approached you, right?
He didn't approach me.
Did he approach that you know of anybody else and say, hey, I need you to tell them that this happened instead of this?
No, sir.
You being truthful?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else? Go ahead.
On last one, he knew I wasn't going to lie for him because I came in here and told the investigator. I want to say it was Mr. Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, you had already told about the other incident.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So he never came to you, obviously, and you never heard of him go to somebody else?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else concerning this incident, the physical assault of inmate Daly, that you want to tell me? Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. You have any other questions? All right. Well, I'm going to stop the interview. It is 17:47.
Now, state officials are investigating the death of an inmate.
An investigation now underway at the Georgia Diagnostic and Classification State Prison.
I accepted my punishment. I took it. Now it's time for the Department of Correction to take their wrongdoing.
Lockdown 23-1. Georgia's right up there with Alabama, with inmate-on-inmate homicides or sexual assault, not to mention extortion. That's one thing that Georgia inmates are known for. Check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today.
His family says they had to learn from another inmate over the phone What exactly happened to him?
It took about an hour for them to go get his body. They said that they'll do everything that they can and everything was going to be okay, and not even a week later he was murdered.
The Department of Justice has been investigating Georgia's prison system for violence and civil rights abuses since 2021.
Special operations is to successfully investigate and prosecute.
Every minute of every hour, there's always somebody coming to make a drop or coming to fly a drone to make a drop.
When you first come up here, a lot of people look at it and say, wow, this is, chaos.
Few officers are actually on the job these days.
The video shows a dead prisoner slumped over a cell block railing while others complain he's been there for hours.
As you can see, it is Sunday, July 3rd at 8:17 a.m.
This anonymous prisoner recorded multiple videos of a gruesome scene at Ware State Prison. We'll let him tell it.
No officer have came back in this building and checked on nobody in over 3 hours.
Is the Georgia prison system a more dangerous system now than in the past because of staffing?
Well, of course it is.
The Department of Corrections turned down our request to interview Commissioner Timothy Ward. And for anyone who doesn't care about what happens to inmates, if a federal investigation determines civil rights violations, Georgia taxpayers could be on the hook for a lot of money.